Hello everyone. So, if you guys have been following our channel, you would know why we are making these videos. So, we are making this as a part of conveying other people about our team and about everything, about the technical experience, about the overall experience we have being in the team. So, if you're guessing that I am here to share my experience, so you're absolutely right. I'll start from the part where I got selected in this team. So there was a huge process which was designed by our seniors. So we had an interview and written test. So everything was related to again engineering basics and automobile, of course. So what they wanted to see in us was the passion for automobiles. So everyone in the team have a common factor of passion towards automobile. Automobiles are never simple. It takes a vast field of knowledge to actually go forward with the design. So for that, we had to refer a huge load of books. But it comes with a job. We signed up for that. So we can't really complain about it. Coming to the technical aspects now. The present year design is definitely an improvement compared to the last year's suspension design. This year we have went into deep analysis of every design. So what analysis does is gives us a clear picture of how the design will work in real world simulation. We have our own test rig which is provided by NIE Eicher Center. So thanks to them, that rig is being used by many of our teammates to do mini projects. So every mini project is related to our own vehicle. All of the mini projects we do, it helps in improving our design.
The rulebook doesn't really say that much about suspension, so we're not really constrained from that side. Suspension, the design would probably start first before anything else. So we first look into the tires and what would suit us, and based on the engine torque and all that. And then we look at the other aspects of the car that are like the wheelbase and the track widths at the front and the rear. So once we know all that, we can start actually roughly plotting a geometry for the suspension. I think the fairly obvious choice for suspension would be the double wishbone suspension. So once you have that sort of sorted out, the only thing you're left with is deciding how to actuate the springs, whether to use a push rod or a pull rod or directly actuate it, and that choice largely depends on the space constraints, or largely space constraints only.
After we come up with the alternatives, we probably end up with 2 or 3 alternatives matching our requirement. Then we go further deep into analysis and see which option suits our design the best, and we pick that option as our design. I could give you an example. Last year we used a normal double wishbone direct actuated suspension, and this year we are going to be using a double wishbone push rod actuated suspension. It puts in complexity in the fabrication phase, but we have to understand the need of optimizing the design. So one thing led to another. We had a lot of arguments. So that's what arguments lead to a very optimum design.
So the actual geometry design begins once you roughly know what your chassis is going to look like, and you have all these other parameters like the ride height and the position of the steering rack, which is very important. Once you have all that, they act as constraints for your geometry design. So we sort of need to make sure that the instant centers between the upper arm and the lower arm and the steering arm are all at the same point, so that there's no toe change. Before that, I had to mention that the wheel alignment parameters are very important. I think the most important ones would be the camber and then the toe, because the others, although they are important, they don't change much during wheel travel. The long short arm configuration would make sure that we have the right camber change with bump. And regarding toe, it's got to do with positioning of the eye centers properly. I think one of the hardest parts about designing the suspension is that we can only read about the effects of different wheel alignment parameters, like say camber. So while we design, we can only imagine something based on something we've read, and we don't really have a model of a car where we can keep tweaking it to find out whether what we're doing is right or not. The only solution to this is leave a bit of adjustability to the final model. So say what we did is not optimum, then we can have a slight adjustment. But then that is again quite difficult to do, because it would mean in a way we'll end up weakening the members. So with the dynamic analysis, that is with the forces and all that acting on the tires, you basically assume a force like say an acceleration or a deceleration due to acceleration or braking, and a lateral force due to some cornering, and you combine them together acting on the tire and see how this force is transmitted to the linkage, which is effectively a simple 4-bar linkage with a few extra additions.
Well, for the people who have been watching our videos, you might know why we are here. So we make these videos every month. Okay, not every month. We plan to make it every week, but now it's not working out as planned. So please support us more by subscribing to our YouTube channel and also liking our Facebook page.
Thank you for watching our video. Hope to see you soon again.